get it right, let's get it right. Let's 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 get it right. Let's get it right. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Dealatofficial. And this is No Filters. Always appreciate you hitting that like button for me. Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat. Get you something to drink. Get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Wow. Let's get into this here.
Bill and Hillary Clinton have refused to appear before the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. The former president was supposed to appear today and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton tomorrow. Her attorneys say she won't show up either. The Republican-led committee is threatening a legal showdown, with the chairman saying lawmakers will move next week to hold the former president in contempt of Congress. Similar action is expected against Hillary Clinton. Several photos and documents relating to former President Clinton have been released as part of the Department of Justice disclosure of the Jeffrey Epstein files. That release represents, though, less than 1% of the total Epstein records covered by a federal law requiring their disclosure. The Justice Department says it's still reviewing more than 2 million documents, with additional releases expected as that process continues.
Well, here we are again. I don't think it's any secret. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton joined her husband in defying a bipartisan lawful congressional subpoena to show up today. I think what's most disappointing to the Oversight Committee is the fact that we have, in good faith, negotiated with the Clintons' attorneys for 5 months. Throughout the past 5 months, they've implied to us they were trying to make a date work. In fact, the last date we had, they notified us 3 days beforehand, said that they would love to come, but they have a funeral to attend. And we have bent over backwards to try to schedule the Clinton. No, I'm still talking. Go ahead. Hey, get him out of here. You're not even a reporter. Get out of here. So here's the situation. We're going to hold both Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress. We believe that because this subpoena was issued in a bipartisan fashion, the Democrats acted the day that the subpoenas were voted on in the subcommittee like they wanted the Clintons to come, because they at that time, if you go back, they were wanting me to subpoena the estate, which I did. We subpoenaed the estate and got all the documents, everything. That was what the victims asked. That's what the Democrats asked. I think that's what the American people wanted. We subpoenaed the estate, got 100% of the documents. I have subpoenaed the Department of Justice and Pam Bondi for the documents, which they are producing. Now, we don't like the speed. We all wish the documents would come in quicker, but we've gotten tens of thousands of pages of documents from the Department of Justice. And remember, they made a big document drop, and the Democrats cried foul because they said they didn't.
Demanded redaction.
Right, they wanted more redactions. So they're double and triple checking this. And the Department of Justice is complying with our lawful subpoena. The estate complied with our lawful subpoena. Bill Barr, Alex Acosta came in and were deposed because of our lawful subpoena. This same lawful subpoena was issued to the Clintons, and they defied it. And you know, Bill Clinton's trying to play the victim card here. Only Bill Clinton could try to triangulate something that's happened, a terrible atrocity to these survivors that have had to endure who knows what from Epstein and Maxwell. So
And their associates.
So we're trying to get answers to the American people. We're serious about it. Once again, not a single Democrat showed up. You know how many depositions we've done? There's always a Democrat here. The former President of the United States, former Secretary of State, neither one of them, not a single Democrat here. So I think the questions that should be asked to the Democrats on the committee are do you still support hearing from the Clintons? We're going to vote on it in committee Wednesday. So we're giving plenty of notice. We're having a markup, a regularly scheduled markup for the House Oversight Committee. We will mark up criminal contempt of Congress charges for both Clintons for defying a legal subpoena. Once it passes the committee, then it will go to the full House floor for a vote. They have to notice it 3 days and all that.
We have breaking news. The deadline is here for former President Clinton to comply with the congressional subpoena to testify about Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed former President Clinton and former Secretary Hillary Clinton in its investigation into the Epstein files, but the Clintons are not expected to comply. Our team has been staking out Capitol Hill. So far, no sign of the former president or his wife. And now the committee's chairman is threatening to hold both Clintons in contempt. ABC's political director, Avery Harper, and ABC's contributor, former Congressman John Katkow, are here for more on that. Hi, Avery. So what do lawmakers want to hear from former President Clinton, and what happens if he doesn't show up?
Right, so we know that Republican lawmakers want to ask former President Clinton about any contact that he had with Jeffrey Epstein. That includes meetings, travel, what he knew about Epstein and when. And if he does not comply, which we know he is not expected to, we could see the House Oversight Committee move to hold the Clintons in contempt. And that would escalate things quite significantly. And for example, we saw Trump allies Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon actually serve time behind bars for contempt. There's no indication that things would go that far here, but that certainly does increase the pressure on the Clintons.
John, the Clintons' lawyer has been negotiating for a closed-door deposition. He insists their relationship to Epstein isn't relevant to the committee's investigation. So how do those negotiations work, and why is it important whether this happens in public or behind closed doors?
Well, I mean, there's always horse trading when it comes to these investigations, and particularly when you have a former president of the United States. And if you recall, Clinton was subpoenaed to testify while he was president for the Monica Lewinsky incident. He ended up appearing voluntarily, and the subpoena was withdrawn. I presume he's trying to do something similar here. If he decides to play hardball, if he decides to say, no, I'm not going to do this, he has multiple options. One of them is to litigate this thing, and it would probably go up to the Supreme Court like the others have. Or, you know, he could claim his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, which I doubt he would do because that would stain his reputation. So it seems to me that he's going to try and define the parameters in a closed-door setting and then appear voluntarily. And if not, they will try and force him to appear.
And John, how likely is it for Congress to hold the Clintons in contempt, and what impact would that have?
I think you can bet every dollar you have that if he flat out refuses to appear, that they'll hold him in contempt. I mean, this isn't just about the Epstein matter. This is, you know, Republicans flexing their muscles because they were in power, and just like the Democrats would do if they were in power. That's what Congress has devolved to these days. Instead of doing the people's business, they spend a tremendous amount of time in things like this. This is clearly meant, my view, to get some facts, but also to rake him through the mud and to muddy him up and dirty him up. And there's a political element to that. There's no question about it.
And Avery, meanwhile, the Justice Department is still withholding some 2 million documents that it's required to release under the Epstein Transparency Act. What are you watching for there?
I mean, ultimately, I'm watching for if the DOJ releases those records and provides any explanation for the delay around them. There's obvious interest on both sides of the aisle as to what is in those records, if there are any names or any evidence that could ultimately change the political fallout from this Epstein case.
All right, Avery Harper, John Katkow, thank you.
So there are two major focus points going on right now within the political landscape. You have the ICE shooting that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and how countless celebrities are politicizing that to turn it into a 100% Trump issue. But more recently, there's something that really is raising quite a number of eyebrows right now and has a lot to do with how Bill Clinton skipped the Epstein deposition in court, including both Bill and Hillary. They decided not to go there. They even had plans or already left the country to go over to Scotland until things watered down in the news cycle focusing on Bill Clinton. Heck, even Bill Clinton's team, they are very worried about the countless celebrities now commenting on Bill Clinton skipping the Epstein deposition because it's dragging so much negative attention to themselves. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, not only did the hosts of The View express a lot of concern and showed a lot of nervousness about the whole Bill Clinton situation, but now you have a lot of actors coming out of the woodwork commenting on this, and now you have Tom Hanks expressing, of course, his overall suspicious behavior about Bill Clinton skipping the Epstein deposition. So let's get into this as well. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So about Tom Hanks, we know that in the past, I would say 6 months or so, he's been getting very defensive, getting, of course, very angry over the fact that Donald Trump and Trump supporters and MAGA, they're all beginning to push the whole Epstein files and making that very transparent out there, and how the DOJ discovered over 5 million Epstein files, and it's putting a lot of these actors on edge right now. Now, one thing that really is raising a lot of eyebrows has a lot to do with what Tom Hanks said. Now, with the ICE shooting in Minnesota causing a wave of celebrities to act unhinged in the public eye, one major development going on now involves more to do with actor Tom Hanks, who decided to act very suspicious in the midst of both Bill and Hillary Clinton skipping the Epstein deposition in court, which is another focus in the political landscape right now. Tom Hanks recently delivered the following: "What our sitting president Donald Trump is doing right now is inexcusable behavior to the Clintons. First, he humiliated them, and now he plans to hold them in contempt over absolute false claims. This is a god-awful act coming from the Trump administration by going after a former president and humiliating him to the point that he has to hide from the public eye for a while. This is exactly why this administration is best described as a rogue government that believes that they can do whatever they want to anybody. And if it can happen to Bill, it can happen to you. The GOP and the DOJ right now are bending the rules around the law, and this is a terrible act coming from Pam Bondi, who has been so incompetent with this administration and for the American people. Instead, we should be focusing on the economy, not all this nonsense, not humiliating a former president like Bill Clinton, or how Trump is now going after his political opponents ahead of the midterms this year. This is the same Donald Trump that recently said he feels that perhaps we don't need elections anymore during the midterms. Has this man lost his mind? What Bill has to go through because of how Trump is running both the DOJ and the GOP is a complete and utter disaster." Now, guys, let me just stop here. Now, what's really interesting about Tom Hanks here is that he's beginning to sound very on edge about the fact that all eyes right now are on Bill Clinton. Basically, after Bill and Hillary decided to skip court, to skip the deposition, regardless of their subpoena, they didn't go there to, show their faces with the whole Epstein deposition. And now the GOP, they are actually seeking to hold them in contempt. Do I think that they ultimately will? That's a big question open on the table for discussion. However, now you have endless celebrities, whether it's actors or comedians or writers, directors, doesn't matter. They are all beginning to come out of the woodwork to defend Bill Clinton at all costs available. And the Clinton team, they're not liking that. Even though that they are defending the Clintons, the Clinton team, they are very nervous over the fact that all of these actors are beginning to come out and comment and defend the Clintons because it's dragging negative attention to themselves. So continuing on, he goes on to continue, "It's exactly why Bill can't really help himself in the public eye and put himself out there as much anymore. I am so ashamed that the American people voted for a man like Donald Trump, a man who believes that he is above the law, a man who is now focusing on such a controversial figure to humiliate his political opponents before the midterms because, well, Donald knows that he and his entire party are losing popularity on a massive scale right now. Even MAGAs are done with the lies coming from Trump. When you start going after a former president like Bill Clinton and using the DOJ to put out humiliating, false evidence, that's when you know you have lost all integrity and have lost your morals as a sitting president. This is exactly why it was in my best interest to spend more time in Greece as a citizen of Greece, while this reckless human being drives our once great country into the ground. Things weren't like this under President Biden. Things were never like this under Biden. You didn't see him going after Bill Clinton or even President Obama Only a man like Trump would humiliate a class act like Bill Clinton to turn him into something that he's not in front of the public. This is the making of a narcissist, a liar. This is the plan by the MAGAs and the Trumpers out there to diminish any competition available that comes in their way, which shows desperation to me. I will forever support and defend Bill Clinton no matter what. So there's Tom Hanks once again, doubling down on defending Bill Clinton, doubling down on really saying that he will defend him at all costs, no matter what happens. I think that really tells us a lot about what's going on with some of the celebrities that have been heavily criticized about their connections with Jeffrey Epstein, and Tom Hanks is among one of them, because we all know that he definitely flew on that flight multiple times. We all know that. But what's interesting here about this is the fact that, yes, you have Tom Hanks going out there criticizing Pam Bondi, Trump supporters, the DOJ, the GOP, all for really just bringing up their overall criticism about Bill Clinton skipping the Epstein deposition, which really should raise a lot of eyebrows right now. It really should raise a lot of questions as to why the suspicious behavior, because let's not forget, this is suspicious behavior. There's no doubt about that. There's no way to really go around that fact, especially after a lot of users on X reported getting blocked by the official Bill Clinton Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it, after they brought up the Epstein deposition, and how they skipped it. And that really is also another thing that is ringing a lot of alarm bells right now. But overall, when you look at a lot of actors like Robert De Niro, Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, Jane Fonda, George Clooney, they are pretty much no longer actors. They are more so political talking heads at this point, because they know that the midterms, it's getting closer and closer with every month that passes by, especially now that we're in 2026. It's all about now essentially promoting the 26 midterms, which is why a lot of these actors are becoming quite vocal right now in the Hollywood sphere, if you will. It's exactly why they got very political at the Golden Globes, and I do expect them to use the Oscars of 2026 as a political platform. There's no doubt that that's going to happen. You're going to see Tom Hanks, George Clooney there. You're especially going to see Mark Ruffalo there, going off several times about Trump this, Trump that, Trump supporters, and all this nonsense that they keep spouting on about. But overall, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.
Don't forget what's going on right now. You're here with your boy Dilla T. Right now, this is No Filters. Hit that like button, double tap that screen real quick. Subscribe, it's free. It's the reason you able to do that, because it's free. It's not hard. It's not a bill. It is free. Right, so you can subscribe. Now, shout out to Cat Red Rose. I really appreciate you, because you always come in and you be like, hey, handsome. You always be like, what's up with you? That's big, because what that does for me is a lot. And it's different too, because it makes you kind of understand, like when Chris pulled up, he's like, yo fam, it's good to see you tonight on the live. And it's like, it makes you think even more. Y'all don't be knowing what people be going through, and we don't be knowing what y'all be going through. So it's heavy, you know what I mean? But I think when you're a man of many talents, or even a jack of all trades, no one ever really knows you're tired. You know, life just goes on. Life be lifing, so it just goes on. But nobody knows you're tired. You may look it, even when you're not looking like it. Nobody knows what's really on your mind to know how tired you really are. I think it's a difference for me, because when I pull up here, when we pull up in the house right here, No Filters with fam, right here, right now, when I pull up, we in the house. That's why when I say get you something to eat, get you something to drink, and get you something to smoke if that's what you do, that's a real thing. And when I say get comfortable, I really mean that, because see, for me, you see what I'm doing. You see me. You see the whole everything, right? I don't see y'all. So by me not like seeing y'all, it's a difference because some people laying down watching, some people chilling, some people smoking, some people cooking. Some people got me on their TV screen, somebody got me on their phone, on their tablet. It's just a blessing to be gotten, be seen. Biggest point that I'm making is that regardless, it's still a blessing to be here because I really don't dress it up. You know what I mean? When I pull up, I really don't dress it up to pull up. Being a human, you know. This is real as it gets. I would love to get some rest, Lord knows. But I've always felt like, you know, you sleep when you pass away. And I've also felt like if I rest too long, I might miss something that I gotta do because that's how much I'm busy. Or that's how much I got going, what I got going. So it's a balance, you know, for me. Because it's a beautiful thing to know that people love you, people miss you, people care about you, you know. And like I said, I truly appreciated Cat Red Rose because that matters. When you tell a person, hey, listen, you gotta get you some rest. But is that real? You know, because even like when we actually have time to rest, do we really rest? When we have time to rest, do we really rest? And I don't think that's a real thing because I think the mind is moving so much and so much is going on that when you actually do settle, somebody might actually see how tired you really are. And I truly appreciate that because that's a thing about knowing the love I have for you, for real, Cat, because it's see, us being fam and being in our house, Bam gonna tell you what it is. I think I don't get to rest mentally, you know, because physically, see, at my age, money just don't cover one thing. You gotta have a bag for each situation going on in your life. Me as a black man, me as a father, it plays a role on how that bag has to line up. Because between your life, your personal relationship, your kids, things you want to do, all of that's like 7 different bags. Because one bag can't cover several things. I'm gonna be real with you. And if you got it like that, that's a blessing. But it's like bags gotta cover situations because I still need to be able to operate. I still need to be able to take care of my kids, still need to pay my bills, things of that nature. So I would never really rest mentally. The body can sleep and get rest at some point, but mentally, if you ever see me, I'm mentally tired because it just don't stop. You know what I mean? It just don't stop. I'm always got to be ahead, trying to be prepared, trying to operate in that. So, truly a blessing, Cat. That's truly a blessing, Ruth. It's truly a blessing, fam, to know that people care about you. That's on the other side of the earth, or down south, or east. Up east, over on the west. It's a beautiful thing, for real. I want y'all to know I care about you all right here in the middle of all things and what's going on, fam. You hear me? Nicole Howard says, rest. It's an act of self-love. Even if you're not asleep, you have to rest your mind, body, and soul. Because what good are you if you're no good? And when you don't know what to do, be still. We truly appreciate Nicole. You know it's love, Nicole, because what you just said is truly, truly, it's love. And we need to hear what Nicole said. We got to take heed to what she said. Again, she said, rest is an act of self-love. Even if you're not asleep, you have to rest your mind, body, and soul. Because what good are you if you're no good? And when you don't know what to do, be still. Beautiful word by Miss Nicole Howard. I appreciate that. You know you better be subscribed and be a member. And that Ruth said, have you in my prayers. Ruth, you know it's love for you all the way. And that's real. And that's wanted. So we need to understand that we're going to take heed to what Nicole said. That's why you learn things from me. Because I say you in here with your boy Dilla T and my fam. And this is no filter. See, that's what I say. Because fam going to learn you something. Even fam will learn you something. Can't be hard-headed. Can't be hard-headed. You can't be hard-headed, fam. Yeah. So you got to get rest, because even like she said, what good are you if you're no good? And I don't hear that often, but I've heard that often. But I heard that a lot. But I think just as a man, I think it's so hard to rest when you're doing, see, and I mean, this gonna hit some brothers real different. When you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man, as a father, it will be hard to find time to rest. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's easy for you to rest because you're jumping and you jucking and jiving and you playing and gaming. And now you playing so much that you could just fall asleep wherever. But when you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man, it's hard to find rest because priorities line up. Responsibility starts to show itself. There's an order that comes with it. And at some point in your mind, if 1, 2, 3, 4 is not done, so again, when you're doing what you're supposed to do as a man, it's hard to find time to rest. But we still need to find rest. That's what it is tonight. You still need to find rest. Because yet you see Bill Clinton and Hillary, they are finding hard times to find rest. Their name tied to Epstein, and now they don't even want to testify about it. And now they're being held in contempt. Now they will have no rest. Because now they have to be out here trying to figure it out. Being held in contempt. Nicole said, that's true, but I had my daddy in my life until he died, 2018. My condolences. I'm sorry to hear that, Nicole. I'm the youngest and the only girl out of 10. Wow. You as a man, father, you carry the burden, so we don't have to. Yes, and because of that, people don't understand. That burden is unexplained. That burden is without complaint. That burden is unexplained, and that burden is without complaint. And I don't think people understand that, so the outlet. What's the outlet? Because you inlet so much, you input so much, you have to have an outlet. You know, so it's a place, and it has to be rest, and you also have to be able to process. You feel me, fam? That's a real thing to process, for real. Because at this point right now, how I'm seeing things, I've been doing a lot of processing. You know what I mean? Processing. Looking back, looking forward, looking in the present, realizing the gift in the present. Processing. So for me, you know, my energy is different on the processing part because I think a lot on how to game plan, execute, and finish them. So that's why my brain do a lot. Because I'm always processing, I'm always game planning, I'm always to be ahead. And that's a real deal. But I think about what you just said about your dad passing in 2018, saying you as a man, Father, you carry the burden so we don't have to think about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That burden will take you. You still the GOAT to me to this day, but I feel we as children have to make at least, the very least, is make your load easier. As wives, children, grandchildren, and honestly feel like we don't appreciate a man, true man, until he's gone. That's real. And that's the only way that it can be said. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Subscribe right now. You need two reasons. You're going to learn how to get some sleep. You're going to learn how to get some rest. You're going to learn that the burden of a man that takes care of his business never sleeps. And that's a real thing. Let's go. What? Not doing that.
All right, Bill and Hillary Clinton have refused to appear before two House Oversight Committee to testify as part of their investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. In an 8-page letter to Chairman Comer, Clinton's lawyers said they, quote, have already provided the limited information they possess about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. They called the effort, quote, nothing more than a ploy and attempt to embarrass Trump's political rivals. Chairman Comer spoke to reporters outside the hearing room where Bill Clinton was due to testify earlier today and laid out what is coming next. Take a look.
As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
All right, so Chairman Comer joins us now. Is it true that Peter Navarro was held in contempt and he went to prison, and Steve Bannon held in contempt and he went to prison? Did that happen in those cases?
100%. When Democrats subpoenaed Republicans and the Republicans didn't show, they held them in contempt, and the Department of Justice prosecuted them.
And do we have 17 chronicled examples of Jeffrey Epstein visiting Bill Clinton when he was president of our country?
Yes, Sean. When Bill Clinton was president, Jeffrey Epstein went to the White House 17 times. And then post-presidency, Bill Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane at least 27 times. So that shows they were close. Again, no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions. And the Democrats in Congress, they've gone, all full war mode on trying to get people in to talk about Epstein. But when it came to Bill Clinton, initially the Democrats voted for the subpoena and they said, yeah, we want to hear from Bill Clinton too. Today they were a no-show. They didn't even come to the deposition, and they're all running and evading reporters who, quite surprisingly, the mainstream media has been pretty critical that Bill Clinton didn't show up for this subpoena.
And just as a matter of reference, didn't Donald Trump throw Epstein out of his club some 20, 25 years ago because of his behavior with young women that he found inappropriate?
Yes,
if somebody had
Trump
incriminating information on Donald Trump, would he so publicly in a town like Palm Beach, where social circles, I guess, matter to a lot of people, would he publicly do that if he had incriminating information?
Yeah, look, Donald Trump has answered thousands of questions from the American public and from the media about Epstein. To my knowledge, Bill Clinton hasn't answered any questions. And what he said in that letter, he's provided us his information about his knowledge of Epstein. He didn't provide hardly any information for someone that allowed Epstein to go to the White House 17 times while he was president and then fly on his plane 27 times. So we have questions. If anyone in America is interested in Epstein and getting to the truth about what really happened and
that's not gonna come through Bill Clinton. Like, they really finna put all that focus on Bill Clinton. See, that's the thing. We know Trump, another dodgeball, taking the light off you and shining it on somebody else. Who cares about Bill Clinton? Nobody. Nobody cares about Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. Nobody. Nobody cares. The fact that there was a president there, okay, that was that. But who really cares? Shout out to the new drinking glasses. Let me see them. But you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, fam. Don't nobody care. And that's the thing. Like, if it was Obama, okay, somebody probably would. Because it's Obama, how he talk, hope, keep hope alive, all of that great stuff. But Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, you, fam. So nobody cares about him because we know how he coming. That was Monica Lewinsky. Nobody cared. I mean, Trump really think this about to go away. It's not going nowhere. You can blame and put the light on everybody. Stupid man. And you know what else is sad? They finna try to put this light on everybody else as long as they can. All the way to the next election. That's what they gonna do. They gonna literally every month is gonna be a new case or a new charge against something new with the world and somebody famous or something. Watch what I tell you. Every month it's gonna be somebody getting, God forbid, somebody gonna probably get shot. Some famous person gonna get locked up about something retarded. And some political scandal gonna be unfolded every month. Watch what I tell you. That's how it's gonna go down. Because that's enough. Those three are enough to keep us going for that particular month. But the funny part is, that ain't gonna stop us from talking about Epstein files. So even if Trump don't bury himself and he want to bury somebody else, we still gonna be talking about the Epstein files. Whether we ain't talking about your name, you know how many people was over there in the Epstein files, fam? How many people was on the island? We could talk about them all 2026. But after we talk about them, we still gonna get back to Trump and the Epstein file. So I think, to me, when we get past all these celebrities, all these names, and get past all these months that's coming, when he's not in office no more, that's when they gonna act like they don't care about his name being in the Epstein file. Because at that point, who gonna do something to him? Think about it. They ain't doing nothing to him now. Everything that man doing, breaking every law in the book, they not doing nothing to him right now. So what makes you think that it's even gonna matter about the Epstein files after he get out of office? They finna carry this out so long until that man get out of office. And then when he get out of office, then they gonna release his name. Then they gonna show this, show that. And at that point, it ain't gonna matter. He gonna be laughing like, okay, who cares? I'm not the president no more, whatever. But the funny part is, people just gonna walk around and be like, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. And that's not gonna matter either. It's a crazy combination. Waffles with no syrup, no nothing in a juice box. Ruth, what? Wow, crazy word. So yeah, that's a big deal. Because now they're gonna literally carry it out, and then when it comes down and it goes down, he's gonna be like, who cares? So if you're advocating to hear Trump's name, see his face, name, anything, you better work harder. You better work harder. Because right now he is the sitting president of the United States. And with that is very much so power. So whoever's in the background or whoever's whatever that's trying to make themselves unredact or redact files that show Trump name and or pictures, they're going to have to work harder. They're going to have to work harder. And that's the only way it's going to work in that manner. 1016 right here. So that's why I say it's a big deal. Hit that like button, subscribe right now. Let's go.
Who needs to be held accountable and how the government failed the victims? Then Bill Clinton is someone that would be a person of interest, whether you're a Republican or Democrat.
Well, I find this so interesting. There's a lot of so-called people that claim to be conservatives, only when it's convenient, in my view, demanding Donald Trump. Joe Biden had access to this information. He never released it. But I'm seeing pictures of Bill Clinton all over the place with young women in a hot tub, mystery women sitting on his lap in Jeffrey Epstein's plane, swimming in a pool with a woman that looks pretty naked to me, Ghislaine Maxwell and somebody else. I think he has some explaining to do, considering so many people wanted Donald Trump to answer, no?
You're exactly right. The American people are interested in this. They want to know the truth. We're trying to provide the truth on the Oversight Committee. This subpoena wasn't just issued by me. It was voted.
Thunder in the building. Okay, now think about this. He's talking about the American people interested in Bill Clinton and the Epstein files and what went on over there. First of all, do you really think Bill Clinton was finna get on the stand and say, yeah, I was over there. Yeah, we was with everybody was there. Yeah, everybody. I could write down every name you know. Yeah, it don't matter. Hillary, she was late, but she was there too. Yeah. That's all we were doing. Yeah, kicking it and boozing. Yeah, freaks and everything. Yeah. Donald know what Chris was with me, smoking and rolling. Yeah. Hillary come in with old girl and them, yeah. You see me in the hot tub, I was hot in the tub, yeah. Come on, fam, Chris, yeah, that's Bill. Bill, you think you better get up there and do that? You stupid people. Are you dumb? Are you cowards? Or are you just illiterate peasants? I mean, that's peasantry right there. You know what I'm saying, fam? Like, what? You really think you better get up there and do that? No. That boy said, man, you dumb, man. Call me out. Keep calling me out. Hold me in contempt, attempt, give me temp tags. It don't matter the temp of temperatures. Just keep doing it. What they gonna do to me? Well, yeah, because he like, yeah, what they gonna do to me? Yeah, you want me to get him over here? Tell Hillary. I told Hillary. She knew what it was already. We were already there. Yeah. We were there. And by fact, we were going to go back, but yeah. So don't get it twisted. Yeah. Clinton, yeah. You think Clinton finna get up there and say that? Let me tell you something, man. They got pictures of this man in the hot tub. They got pictures with this man being massaged by girls that we don't know their age, but yet they look under. So think about that. They want to call it allegedly. Is what true, Ruth, about Bill Clinton? Bill doing all that. And again, they're going to use Bill first. Who y'all think that's next? They're going to go Bill Clinton first. And the fact, and it's really, this is the point they're trying to make. Follow me. This is the real point that they're trying to make. They're trying to say, if you're a president found in the Epstein files and we call you to court to testify and you deny that, then they're saying that you do have something to hide, basically. So the American people are supposed to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Bill don't want to testify. Hillary don't want to testify. Oh my God. What are we going to do? I know something's going on. Something's going on. I know it. Oh my God. Something's happening. Ruth, you got Chinese neighbors and Haitian neighbors. Who is who? It is a wonderful world where you at, fam. Turned in the building. Tracy in the building. You know it. So yeah, Bill never was going to say nothing, Chris. What? You know he wasn't going to say nothing. Now I got folk in here talking about who's going to, you know, Bill wasn't going to say nothing. Hillary like, now you got one time. I'm going to tell you now, you got one time, Bill. I knew Donald was going to throw us under the bus. That's what Hillary's saying. I knew Donald was going to do it. I ran against him in the election and he run that son of a... I knew he was going to do it. Because they're up his ass like a... I knew he was going to do it. But don't worry about it, Bill. You don't worry about it at all, Bill. Because we're going to win whatever. We're not going anywhere. That's what Hillary is telling Bill. Okay. All right, shout out to the project. So you know what I'm saying? That's the situation. I'm not expecting Bill. So really, let me tell you what's interesting about this Thunder. Let me tell you what's interesting, Thunder. Listen to me, Ruth. This was interesting. What's really interesting is how far this is going to go. Because you know he's not going to testify about nothing that happened on the Epstein Island. So really, I'm looking forward to how far this is going to go. Are they really just doing this jail and contempt just to make us be like, oh my God, they're going to do something to somebody? Ruth, what's your question? Because you got Latinos, Blacks, Chinese, and Haitian in your project. So what was your question, Fania? We're going to wait on you. What was your question, Ruth? So that's what I mean. I just want to know how far they're going to go. What's after contempt? Can anybody in here tell me if the government is holding you in contempt? What's after that? Oh my God, Ruth, why you... Your question said, listen to me, Ruth, you kill me. She said, is that true? My neighbors told me. Is that true, Dealatofficial? Is what true? And the cleansing minors in Haiti. Oh. That's what your question was about Clinton in Haiti? Ooh, we finna have to put some eyes on that, Ruth. We finna have to put, yes, that is a alleged, you know they always put alleged. That is alleged rumor of that being a situation and the other children that they had spoke about discussing with Oprah. Now, I forgot the country Oprah school. And by the way, it's an all-girl school. Okay? But whatever country that's in, I've heard that they have dealings out there as well. So you got to look at everything for what it is right in front of your face. If they're going after Clinton, they try to give you, so okay, there you go, Chris, South Africa. So if they're going after, and think about it, what Chris Tucker say? They all was doing the Africa trip back then with Epstein. So you got to understand, they've been tied to South Africa for a long time. You don't know what kids done been, or what minors done been snatched from anybody. Especially when you heard that these people have been in these zones, in these areas, man. You know how often they press in Africa? They constantly press in Africa. They've been doing it forever. That trip on that plane with Chris Tucker, Bill Clinton, and all them other, that was a South African trip. What? Yeah. I remember them. That was a South Africa. We can pull that up right now. That was a South Africa trip, fam. We're going to have to pull up that Bill Clinton Haiti joint route. But I'm just saying, that was a South Africa trip. And Chris Tucker talked about that. They was all headed to Africa. To do what? What y'all been doing in Africa? Ain't no money. What the money look like in Africa? Y'all rich as that thing. Y'all finna go over there and do what? So let's make it make sense, fam, because that ain't making no sense. What y'all finna go do in Africa? And then all of a sudden, Oprah take over Africa, all girls school Africa. Mel Gibson come out talking about that. What? So it's just, to me, it's like Haiti, Clinton. I don't put it past nobody. Hit that like button, double tap that screen right now, subscribe. We here, let's go.
On unanimously by the Oversight Committee. Every Democrat in that committee voted for this subpoena. So the President Clinton is not telling the truth when he says this is partisan. This is a bipartisan subpoena.
All right, Donald Trump never flew on the plane from what I understand either. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Y'all see that duck quacking? Goofball.
All right, you guys. So, get it, man. Ticket TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Y'all tap on in to the building. And we definitely gonna get into this video, you guys, man. This one right here is wicked, boy. This one is all the way wicked as former President of the United States of America, Bill Clinton. Man. Bill don't snap. Bill has snapped, you guys.
Bill didn't went off.
The former President of the United States of America. I told you guys this issue was real. Y'all didn't want to listen to me. A lot of y'all said, ain't nothing gonna happen, Ticket. I'm telling you right now, ain't nothing gonna happen. I told you clowns, it is something gonna happen. I told y'all exactly what they're gonna do to Bill Clinton. And y'all didn't want to listen. I told y'all, Donald Trump and the people is not playing with Bill Clinton. Donald Trump wants all of his enemies, or anybody that he perceives against him, out of here. You better believe that. And now, Bill Clinton, in my opinion, is gonna take everything down with him. Why am I saying that? Because Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton snapped. Now, today, they did not show up in front of Congress. Congress, once again, they skipped their date. And they refused to testify because they were called to testify in the Epstein case, right? They were called to testify. And they refused to testify in the Epstein trial, right? So, what happened? Them refusing to testify in the Epstein trial, Congress came out and said, if they don't come today and testify, we're gonna charge them with contempt of Congress, and we're gonna have the police come and arrest their ass, charge them, and drag their ass up here. Well, Bill Clinton, he said, to hell with that, I'm a former president of the United States of America. You ain't telling me to do a damn thing. Well, that was a bad move because now they're saying that they are going to push this line to put Bill Clinton in handcuffs and Hillary Clinton in handcuffs and drag their ass down there charge them with contempt of Congress, and put, so now, tonight, y'all, it is all gone down.
Police gonna put you like, oh, so this what we doing? Yeah. Oh, this what we doing? So Donald called the laws on us, Hillary. Yeah. He called the laws on us. So that's what we doing, Donald. You son of a son. That's what he gonna be telling Hillary when they pulling up outside, Chris, you hear me? Hillary gonna be like, oh, Bill, there he is. Hillary gonna be like, oh, so that's what we doing? You calling them on us, Donald? They just said they called the police to pull up on Bill and Hillary to drag them down there. Now, what's the odds of that? How this gonna work? This is diabolical. Yeah, Ruth, it's about to be diabolical. His son named Danny Williams and Chelsea Clinton ain't his real daughter. But we know that too because they're like Obama kids.
As the former president of the United States and his wife snapped, they went
It's up and it's stuck,
in the night. And I'm going to tell y'all exactly what they said. Smash the like button, share the video, like the video, y'all come on in. Bill Clinton, in a letter, as you can see, William Jefferson Clinton, Hillary Rodham Clinton, dated today. They wrote a letter to the chairman, and here it is right here in front of your face. Chairman Comer, we want to take a moment, given everything, to address you directly. This past year has seen our government engage in unprecedented acts, including against our own citizens.
What that mean?
People have been seized by mass federal agents from their homes, their workplaces, and the streets of their communities. Students and scientists with visas permitting them to study and work here have been deported without due process. The people who laid siege to the U.S. Capitol have been pardoned and called heroes. Agencies vital to the country's national security have been dismantled. Universities, media companies, and law firms have been subject to threats up to their funding, access, and license unless they made concessions and surrendered their right to constitutionally protected free speech. American troops have been deployed on the streets of our towns and cities. The Justice Department has been used as a weapon at the direction of the president to pursue political opponents, and most recently and searingly, an ICE agent unalived an unarmed mother only days ago. Every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, its people, no matter the consequences. For us, now is that time. We are lucky by virtue of the positions we held and the protections afforded by them, but we are not blind. Every day, we see the country we have dedicated our lives to improving, take step after step after step backwards. As chairman of this powerful congressional committee, you have immense power to target anyone and subject them to closed-door interrogation and more. The decisions you have made and the priorities you have set as a chairman regarding the Epstein investigation have prevented progress in discovering the facts about the government's role. The facts speak for themselves.
Not like you.
You subpoenaed 8 people in addition to us. You dismissed 7 of those 8 without any of them saying a single word to you. You made no attempt to force them to appear. In fact, since you started your investigation last year, you have interviewed a total of 2 people. A legal analysis prepared by 2 law firms and provided to you yesterday makes clear your subpoenas are legally invalid. You claim your subpoenas are inviolate when they are used against us, yet were silent when they were sitting, when the sitting president took the same position. As a former president, Barely more than 3 years ago, we called on you to release that analysis to the public to allow them to see how this is yet another example of the casual disregard of the law of the land. And all the while, you have done nothing with your oversight capacity to force the Department of Justice to follow the law and release all the Epstein files, including any material regarding us, as we have publicly called for. Over the last year in the House, extending health care for Americans in any state succeeded only because, through Republicans joined with Democrats, the fact that the public and we are seeing any of the Department of Justice's Epstein files is only because 4 Republicans out of 220 joined every Democrat to reach the minimum number of members to force a vote. You were not one of those 4. Even now, despite the Department of your Justice failure to follow the law the Congress passed, you have chosen not to consider subpoenaing the sitting Attorney General to follow the law. Despite everything that needs to be done to help our country, you are on the cusp of bringing Congress to a halt to pursue a rarely used process literally designed to result in our imprisonment. This is not the way out of Americans' ills, and we will forcefully defend ourselves. Indeed, bringing the Republicans' cruel agenda to a standstill while you work harder to pass a contempt charge against us than you have done your investigation this past year would be our contribution to fighting the madness. We have tried to give you the little information we've done so because Mr. Epstein's crimes were so horrific. If the government didn't do all it could to investigate and prosecute these crimes for whatever reason, that should be the focus of your work, to learn why and to prevent that from happening ever again. There is no evidence that you are doing so. Instead, you have forced the victims to relive their painful experiences while doing little to give them and everybody else what's deserved, truth and justice. There's no plausible explanation for what you are doing other than partisan politics.
Sweet.
You accepted the least from those who know the most, but demand the most from those who know the least. To say you can't complete your work without speaking to us is simply bizarre. You have asked what we know. To answer your inquiry, we are providing you with the same or more than 7 of the other 8 individuals you subpoena regarding the handling of the Epstein investigations and prosecutions, which may be why you have not publicly released their written statements. We expect you will say it is not enough. We expect you'll reject it. You may even set out an empty chair or stand in front of it, in front of the cameras, and outright dismiss what we have provided. We expect you will direct your committee to seek to hold us in contempt. You may even release irrelevant decade-old photos that you hope will embarrass us. You will say your caucus and the speaker and the president are behind you 100%. We hope, perhaps in vain, that they will not allow you to single-handedly hijack the Congress by unilaterally making this decision for your colleagues, your party, and our country. You will say it is not our decision to make, but we have made it. Now you have to make yours. We are prepared to make our case to your 45 committee members, and if need be, more. Importantly, we also will defend ourselves in the public arena and ensure this country knows exactly what you are doing and why you are doing so. Instead of helping the American people who need this Congress's work and protection, for most people, maybe even the bulk of Congress today will be the first they learn of this dispute. We are confident that any reasonable person in or out of Congress will see, based on everything we release, that what you are doing is trying to punish those who you see as your enemies and protect those you think are your friends. Continue to mislead Americans about what's truly at stake And you will learn that Americans are better at finding the truth than you are at burying it. Continue to pursue auto pens instead of penning laws Americans need. You will.
And so you gotta understand, Kalia said, or is that Kalia? Yeah, Kalia Hudson said, let them go at it. Tunda said, think about two old men, Donald and Bill. Donald and Bill talking about, you ready? And Donald like, you know we're ready. You know we're ready. Whatever the Americans want, you know we're ready. I've always been ready, Bill. I've always been ready. You're the soft one, and Hillary's been holding your nuts. Yeah, I've always been ready. I call on you, you get soft, you're scared. Bill like, oh yeah, really, Donald? Oh yeah, really? Yeah? Well, bring it on. No, hold everything, Hillary. No, hold it. No, hold it, because I'm about to tune him up. That's what Bill gonna tell Hillary. I'm gonna tune him up. And Trump's like, you're not tuning no one up. Come on, I've been ready. I'm the president. What are you gonna do? I can call everyone to bang bang you, pow pow you now. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And Bill like, oh yeah? That's what we're doing? Hold my shit, Hillary. Hold it down. Hold my stuff. Yeah. When I hit him, you hit him too. That's what Bill telling Hillary. When I hit him, you hit him too. Don't forget, when I go in, you come too. Yeah. That's Hillary and Bill. They've been teaming up on folk long time. Thank you, Ruth. Are you ready? Because I'm going to tell you if that's what the situation is, fam. Like, get him, Hillary, Ruth. Get it. Hold it, Ruth. Yeah, because I'm about to get him. Yeah, Donna, bring it. Are you ready? Bring it. Be ready, Ruth. Bring it, Donna. Come on. I'm ready. That's Bill. And Bill ain't scared of nobody. You feel me? Yeah. And Hillary like, hit him where it hurts, Bill. Hit him where it hurts. See, that's how they communicate. You know that's how they communicate. Yeah, that's Bill. Look at his face. Look at his face. Look at Bill's face. You can't tell me his voice ain't. He like, you son of a bitch. You got some nerve, boy. You got some nerve. Look at this. His face is like, you sad motherfucker. You got some nerve, boy. You got some nerve. I know that's what he's thinking. Yeah, he mean mugging, Rube. Look at that man's face. We about to zoom in on his face right now. Everybody zoom in. Look at his face. This face here says, what that face say? Everybody type in there right now. 40 people in here. Type in there what that face saying right now. Type what you think that face saying right now. Type what it is. I pray the best person that type that in gonna get their name drawn in the raffle. Type what that face is saying. That's what it's saying, Rue. Cat said, Cat Red Rose said, it says, you dirty motherfucker. Rue said, disgust. What it saying, Chris? What it saying, Tonda? What that face saying, Khalil? Khalil said, you got me messed up, fam. Tonda said, don't give a damn. Really? And the American people should never see me like this and then they're Ray Hillary, come here. Let's go talk to the American people and tell them we didn't do it. Yeah, come here. Let's go tell them we didn't do it. We don't know what's wrong with this old guy. Yeah, this Donald guy. Yeah. That's what we doing? Yeah. Because he said, come at me then. And that's crazy how white folk, them white people, they be like, well, come at me then. We ain't never, we be like, boot up then. They be like, well, come at me then. That's different, fam. We be like, boot up, bruh. They be like, come at me then. You want it? Then come at me then. So for real, now let's be real. What y'all think finna happen? You think they finna get locked up for years? Or do y'all think they finna get off with something? Like, what would you think really finna happen? Is they really finna say Bill and Hillary Clinton finna get locked up for I mean, because I ain't never heard a couple in court getting convicted and sentenced as a couple. That's not normal. So I'm like, like if they stand on business, I'm telling you, man, Diddy getting locked up was like record breaking, like history. That was for the history books. Come on, be real. Diddy getting locked up like that was for the history books. But if Bill and Hillary together, that's gonna be, I don't even know what that's gonna top. Like Charlie Kirk got hit, the neck, back of the head somewhere, but I just know he got hit in broad daylight in front of everybody. But I think Hillary is more tied in than Bill because of the Pizzagate scandal. You remember the Pizzagate joint, Ruth? You remember that cat? Nicole, where you at? You remember that Tracy? Khalil, you hear me? You remember that Chris? Pizzagate. Tonda, y'all remember that? Pizzagate. Hillary, the emails, sickness, just sick. So to my knowledge, who is really the one? I feel like Hillary is really the worst one. So if you remember Pizzagate, then you remember what happened with that. Like they really, yeah, Ruth pressing one for yes. So you remember, so knowing that scandal, that was a real thing. So I'm saying that to say this. That made Hillary look like a real gangster, like real wicked. Bill didn't look like nothing. He did a Monica Lewinsky thing. Only thing other that you done seen about Bill is being in the pool. And we don't even know who he in the pool with. And then he getting massaged, but we don't even know who he getting massaged by. And then it's funny too because they never mention how it's adults, like grown women over there. They never mention nothing about grown women being over there with Epstein Island. They never mention nothing about grown women being in the Epstein files at all. So for them to constantly talk about young females, and then they you see how they just put young females? They're just saying that, period. They don't say nothing about grown women, any type of women. The only type of women they talking about was just young females. But then they associate these names with that. So when you saying PDFs, when you associate young females and nobody's saying nobody's grown, they basically make us think that this is just nothing but young females there, period. So now you associate that with grown names, you get PDF all day, period. So worst case scenario is that we already know that PDF is already there. That's already in existence. People has literally, that's the thing. Fam came in here and was like, oh my God, what they doing to Bill? But we know that Bill has been in rooms with PDFs. So Bill don't get no pass. Whatever's finna happen to Bill deserves. What we talking about? Yeah, I know the attention is off of Trump, but whoever Trump picks in this situation is associated with PDFs. Yeah, he don't get no pass. We don't care about none of that. It's just, to me, Trump just keeps prolonging this process for us to bury him. He's prolonging this process for us to cook him. He's prolonging things. So any name that he can pick out of those files, they get that same treatment. They get that same pow, 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 pow. Just like Bill. No pass, wicked, shots fired. PDF game. That's it. Now, Bill was with Monica Lewinsky. How old was Monica Lewinsky? Do we know? Tell me that, Ruth. How old was Monica Lewinsky? At the time of the situation with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, how old was Monica Lewinsky? And then let me also say that they put Monica Lewinsky in that position for Bill. She was in that situation and came on to him. She was pressing him. She started giving him the eye. So you have to understand something. Okay, thank you so much, Kat. Kat said that Monica Lewinsky was 30 years old. Tracy said 19. Oh, wait a minute. What we doing? Look up in it. What we doing? Look it up. We gotta look it up. We gotta look it up. How old was Monica Lewinsky when the Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky scandal took surface? Tunda said 18. Woo-hoo. Kalia said yes. Yes to what, Kalia? How old was Monica Lewinsky when her and Bill Clinton was fooling around in the White House? And then this takes me back to, you ever seen Scandal? Kalia said 23. Tariq said 22. So have you ever seen Scandal? Ruth said 22. Okay, so if Monica was 22. Okay, I know Ruth got it. I know it, man. Shout out to you. Listen to me. So I know if it's 22. And if you seen Scandal, right? You understand what was going on in Scandal. That man was married. His wife was partially touched by his father. And she never said nothing to him about his daddy putting his hands on her. So, yeah, offensive thoughts. Yeah, Kerry Washington show. Yeah, Scandal. So in Scandal, Kerry Washington was fooling around with the president, and the president was married. The president's wife was touched, sexually abused by that president's father. She never said nothing to the president, which was her husband. She allowed Olivia Pope to sleep with her husband because she understood the peace, the pleasure, and the love that he had for her more than he did for his wife. And his wife knew that her position was her keeping the presidency. So whatever it took to make sure the president was happy, okay, moving and running the world in the right, correct mind frame was that she let Olivia Pope have sexual relations with her husband, that which was the president. That's what I'm talking about, Ruth, as you should be for what it is. So when you think about that for a second, it makes you think even more. She came on to him at a campaign thing. He was running for president. He came on to her. She was in the elevator with him, and he kind of came on to her, and from then he was pressing her. And at that point, she could have walked away, but she chose to stay. And at some point, the wife knew what they were doing, and at some point, she stopped dealing with the president, and the wife called her back and said, "Why did you stop dealing with him? You need to go back and deal with him because that is what his peace is. Because the world is at stake." So I say that to say this to you all. You understand what type of life we living in when the president is going through things like that, and they are allowing that to happen in the White House just for him to make decisions, for him to be happy. He has to operate in that manner. for him to make sound decisions or be peaceful in what needs to be done. But yet, when Olivia Pope was gone, he was the president and he was folded up like a baby in a lawn chair, crying for Olivia Pope. And he was the president of the United States. So what I'm saying is Hillary could have allowed that. What I'm saying is someone planted Monica there for that to happen in the manner in which it happened. Hillary sat back and allowed that to happen because they knew that was coming. I talk to say scandal, and I talk about scandal a lot because everything was planned. Everything was a move, a chess piece. Everything was a step ahead. Everything was pre-processed, pre-programmed. So I say that to say, family, you have to know that that is the exact. I appreciate it. Jimmy the Jew from Philly. I truly appreciate your family subscribing Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. That's what we're doing here with your boy Dilla T and my family here at No Filters. We appreciate you always and ever. So what I'm saying is that is exactly how they're moving right now. They are moving exactly how scandal is. Everything is pre-planned. Everything is moved. Every wife that's in the White House knows what's going on with their husband. Even in scandal. I'll bring up another episode. The female vice president was running for the presidency. Her husband was gay. She didn't know it. But she act like she didn't, but she kind of did. Because they never was doing anything. So to set him up, somebody from the campaign of Olivia Pope took pictures of the vice president's husband having sexual affairs with a man. They took pictures, put them in an envelope, and sent it to the vice president and told her, you need to resign. And if you don't resign, we're going to show these pictures to the world. When she seen the pictures, she went and confronted her husband and said, I can't believe you. You just cost me the presidency. You know what we work for. We've been doing this for 20 years and we finally right here to be president. And you just sit there and put your, and they got pictures of you with some boy. I can't believe it. She got so mad. Took the gun. Something happened. A gun came out. She shot her husband. Shot her husband. Bye. He falls. She looking like, oh my God. She was so eager for the presidency, for the position, for the title, for the office, for everything that comes with that, that she just took that man's life. So I'm only telling y'all this to say this. That is exactly what the presidency is doing. They're covering up and they making sure that you will never know what really is happening. Because they got those type of people like Olivia Pope to cover it up and make sure that you never know what Bill Clinton did, Hillary Clinton did, Donald Trump did on Epstein Island in the Epstein files. So we're going to follow this to make sure we figure out. I want to know how far it's finna go. Okay, now we getting sleepy. I want to know how far it's finna go. Is he finna get locked up? Or they both gonna get locked up? Or they getting locked up separately? Hillary gonna tell on Bill? Is Bill gonna tell on Hillary? Huh? Or are they gonna get locked up as the couple? To death do them part. As always, fam, you know the deal. You know the business. Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. with your boy Dilla T, making sure you checking in with your fam. Telling it like it gotta be told, my family. As always, I truly appreciate each and every one of you all pulling up. Making sure that you're tuning in. Making sure that you know we bringing light to darkness. Reading the headline, but still reading in between the lines. To know if it walk like a duck, quack like one. We're here to call it what it is, and that's a duck, because we the duck hunting squad. And we coming to get at those because it's duck hunting season. Truly, as always, fam, I truly appreciate the time. Tuning in, listening, speaking your mind, giving your empathy, giving your input. For us to still understand that we can learn as well as we can listen and as well as we can teach. As always, fam, I truly appreciate y'all tuning in with your boy. Making sure that y'all out here taking care of your family and making sure family taking care of you. Never forget, you see the Cash App. Never forget, you see the Super Chat. I truly appreciate any and every piece of any type of support that you can do. Never forget about the raffles. Bam! One woman, one man will win. No filters. Raffle hoodie. Right here, signed by your boy Dealatofficial. Sponsored by Savvy for Well. You already know Nene Savvy for Well. Making sure that he's coming in loud and clear. To make sure that we got your size, your color, and your design. Just to make sure that's what you need. If not, you can always go to the No Filter store and shop. To get that custom hoodie, custom t-shirt, v-neck for men, women, unisex, for even babies, for even kids. We got it all there, family. I truly appreciate you. As always, coming in here, I truly appreciate you making sure when you come in, you get you something to eat. Making sure you get you something to drink. And making sure you get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Because you see the title, fam. You in here with your boy Dilla T and my fam. And this is No Filters. Good night, family. Y'all be safe. Lock your doors. God bless.